"There's no seat for you at the wedding," my sister told me after I spent months planning it for free. Hey Reddit, pull up a chair. I'm about to tell you the story of how I went from being my family's personal event planner to the architect of their very public, very spectacular downfall. My family always operated under one golden rule: Cindy will handle it. They thought I'd drop everything for them, that my success was a family resource to be tapped. Turns out, they were wrong. So wrong. Before I get into the glorious implosion of my sister's wedding, let me set the stage. My name is Cindy Mitchell, and I'm the founder and CEO of Prestige Events, a high-end event planning company based in Chicago. We don't do backyard barbecues. We handle seven-figure corporate galas, charity fundraisers that are written up in the Tribune, and luxury weddings for clients who think a six-figure budget is cozy. I built this company from the ground up, starting with my first job at 16 stuffing envelopes for a local caterer. I worked my way through college, bartending until 3 a.m. to pay tuition, and launched Prestige with a $5,000 loan and a dream that felt audacious at the time. Now, my family, let's just say they've always viewed my ambition through a very specific lens. My parents, Carol and David, are the kind of people who preach family first, but only when it's convenient for them. A few years back, they volunteered me, not asked, volunteered, to handle my grandma's 70th birthday. You get vendor pricing, Cindy? It'll be so much easier. I ended up covering the room rental at the Lakeview Country Club, the catering from a place way above their pay grade, and the open bar. It was close to $5,000. When I gently brought up reimbursement, my mom looked at me like I'd suggested sacrificing a kitten. "Family doesn't send invoices, sweetheart," she said, her voice dripping with disappointment. "We take care of each other." I paid it. The subject was never broached again. Then there's my older sister, Olivia. Olivia is, and always has been, the sun around which our family orbits. She was the straight-A student, the homecoming queen, the girl with the perfect, effortless social life. Where I was elbows deep in spreadsheets and vendor contracts, Olivia was the star of the school play. My parents' walls are a shrine to her achievements. My diploma is in a box somewhere. I'm not bitter about it anymore. It's just a fact of life, like gravity. I was the responsible one, which in our family dictionary meant the one who solves problems so Olivia doesn't have to. So when Olivia got engaged to her boyfriend Ethan last year, I knew my phone would ring. I just didn't know how quickly. It was 2 days after the Instagram announcement. The diamond ring was barely focused in the photo before my mom called, on speakerphone of course. "Cindy, honey," she chirped, the fake sweetness setting off alarm bells in my head. "Olivia's wedding is going to be the event of the year." We were thinking maybe Prestige Events could handle everything. It would be so special since it's family. I already knew what special meant. It was the same code word they'd used for Grandma's birthday. It meant free. Olivia's voice jumped in, bright and demanding. "Yeah, Cindy. It would be amazing. You have all the connections, the venues, the catering, the flowers, everything. It'll be perfect if you're in charge." Notice the wording. Not if you want to, not if you have time. Just a declarative statement. It'll be perfect if you're in charge. The mantle of responsibility was being passed, whether I wanted it or not. I tried to inject a dose of reality. "Okay, let's talk budget. What are we working with?" My mom actually laughed. A light, tinkling sound that grated on my last nerve. "Oh, sweetheart, it's your sister's wedding. You can't put a price on family memories, right? Memories, apparently, cost nothing when your sister owns the business." I didn't argue right then. I was tired. I thought, fine, it's my sister. Maybe this is my chance to finally show them what I can do. Maybe it'll be a bonding experience. I was a fool. So, I said yes. And I dove in head first. The first and most brutal task was the venue. Anyone in the industry knows you're nothing without the right space. And for a prime October Saturday in Chicago, you need to book a year out. I called in every favor I had. I spent 3 weeks negotiating, pleading, and finally leveraging a future corporate booking to secure the Whitmore Mansion in Lake Forest. It's a historic estate with sprawling gardens and a ballroom that makes people gasp. It was Olivia's dream venue, one she'd never have gotten without my connections. The deposit alone was $5,000, which I put on my company Amex. Then came the catering. I got Antonio's, the best Italian caterer in the city, the one with a 6-month waiting list for a tasting. I got them. The flowers? Blumenvine, the florist that did the arrangements for the governor's inauguration. I called in a favor from a designer friend for the lighting and decor, a guy who usually works on fashion shows. I was stacking this wedding with A-list vendors, the kind Olivia and her Pinterest board could only fantasize about. The hours were obscene. I spent entire weekends chauffeuring Olivia and my mom to venue tours before we locked down Whitmore. I'd be on conference calls with a corporate client in Dubai, then get a text from Olivia at 11:47 p.m. Do you think blush or Dusty Rose napkins would photograph better with the mauve table runners? Also, can we add a champagne wall? At first, Olivia was effusively grateful. She'd tell her friends, "My sister is a genius. She's handling everything." But slowly the tone shifted. The thank yous became less frequent, then stopped altogether. By summer, it was just expected. Of course Cindy will fix it. Of course Cindy will pay for that upgrade. When she decided she needed custom, laser-cut wooden signage because she saw it on some influencer's feed, the text was just, "Cindy can get this done." Not a question. A command. My parents were her enablers. My dad took me aside at a family dinner. "It's your sister's big day, Cin. Don't nickel and dime. Family." As if I'd ever sent an invoice. The kicker was my mom. She said, with a completely straight face, "Well, you're the successful one. It's only right you help your sister." Help. The word made me want to scream. I wasn't helping. I was single-handedly building a $100,000 event from the ground up while simultaneously running a multi-million-dollar company. But I kept swallowing my frustration. "It's family," I'd chant to myself, like a mantra. You do things for family. By the end of September, it was all lined up. The Whitmore Mansion, Antonio's 5-course menu, Bloom and Vine's extravagant floral arches, a photographer with 500,000 Instagram followers, 7 months of my life, over $20,000 in deposits from my company account. Also, Olivia could have her perfect day. I didn't know it yet, but the foundation was about to crumble. It started with a dinner invitation. The wedding was set for Saturday, October 15th. On Sunday, October 2nd, my parents summoned me for a family dinner. I walked in, expecting to discuss last-minute timelines. Instead, I found Olivia, Ethan, and my parents sitting at the dining table with the grim faces of a jury about to deliver a verdict. "Hey," I said, cautiously taking a seat. "What's going on?" My mom cleared her throat, a sure sign she was about to say something she knew was bullshit. "So we've been looking at the guest list," she began. Olivia cut in, her voice sharp. "The venue's tighter than we thought. We had to make some hard choices." I shrugged, thinking they were cutting a distant cousin. "Okay, bummer for them." Then Olivia looked me dead in the eye. "We don't have space for you anymore." I actually laughed. It was so absurd I thought it was a joke. What does that even mean? My mom jumped in, her tone placating. "Sweetheart, the guest list grew with Ethan's family flying in. They have a lot of relatives. We can't exclude them." The laughter died in my throat. "You're telling me," I said slowly, "that after everything I've done for this wedding, I'm not invited?" My dad shrugged, like he was talking about the weather. "It's not personal, Cindy. It's just logistics. You live here. Ethan's family is coming from out of state." Olivia nodded, as if this was a perfectly reasonable explanation. "You get it, right? They'd feel hurt if they couldn't come." She paused, then delivered the knockout blow. "You can still help with the vendors and stuff, of course." I blinked. "Help with the vendors? You want me to keep working on this wedding I'm not even invited to?" Ethan, who had been silent until now, finally spoke. "It's not like you need to be there to do your job." "My job?" He said it so casually, like I was a hired contractor. The veil finally lifted. I leaned back in my chair, the wood pressing hard against my spine. "So let me get this straight. I booked the venue, the caterer, the flowers, the entertainment. All of it. And now I'm not welcome at the wedding." Olivia rolled her eyes, a gesture of pure, unadulterated annoyance. "It's just one day, Cindy. Don't make this about you." That was the match that lit the fuse. "Make this about me? Olivia, I've spent 7 months making this about you. Thousands of dollars, hundreds of hours of my life. And you're kicking me out?" My mom raised her hands. "Honey, please. It's Olivia's big day. Don't ruin it with drama." "Drama?" My voice rose. "I'm being told I'm not invited to the wedding I built? How is that not insane to you?" Olivia cut back in, her patience clearly gone. "Look, we just need you to finish the final payments for the florist and the lighting company. After that, you don't have to worry about anything else." The audacity was breathtaking. "You want me to pay for it too?" She gave a little shrug. "Yeah." That was it. The final straw. The months of swallowed resentment, the financial drain, the emotional labor. It all crystallized into a cold, hard diamond of resolve. I leaned forward, my hands flat on the table. "No, I'm not paying another cent. And if you're serious about uninviting me, I'm done with all of it." Olivia looked genuinely shocked. The idea that I had a line she couldn't cross had never occurred to her. "You can't just quit now. Everything's under your name." "Exactly," I said, standing up. That shut her up. "Good luck with your wedding." I walked out. Nobody called my name. Nobody ran after me. The silence behind me was more deafening than any argument. On the drive home, my phone buzzed. "Mom, Dad, Olivia." I let them ring. For the first time, I saw my place in the family with painful clarity. I was the utility player, not a core member of the team. For 3 days I stewed. Then, the call came. It was Olivia. Her voice, a frantic shriek. "Cindy, the string quartet just canceled. The wedding is in 10 days. I need you to find another one." That call was a bucket of ice water. If the quartet could vanish, what else was teetering on the edge? That night, I pulled out the master contract folder, and I read every single clause, line by line. And I discovered my power. Every contract, venue, catering, flowers, lighting, photography, was between the vendor and Prestige Events LLC. My company, my signature. Every deposit had come from my business account. And in beautiful legalese black and white, every contract had the same clause. Final payment due 1 week before the event. Failure to pay voids the contract. All deposits are refundable to the client on record. The client on record was me. I checked the calendar. Final payment was due Friday, October 7th, at 5 p.m. Central Time. In 4 days, Olivia hadn't paid a dime. She just assumed I would. A strange calm settled over me. They wanted to treat me like the hired help? Fine. The hired help follows the contract. I drafted a polite, professional email to all vendors. A standard payment reminder. This is a reminder that the final balance for the Mitchell event on October 15th is due by Friday, October 7th at 5 p.m. Central Time. Per contract terms, failure to pay will result in automatic cancellation and refund of deposits to Prestige Events LLC. I scheduled it to send Tuesday morning. Then, I opened a new browser tab and booked a flight to Japan. Departure, Friday, October 14th. The evening before the wedding, I booked hotels in Tokyo, Kyoto, Hakone, and Osaka. I reserved a spot on a Mount Fuji day tour. With a few clicks, I built my escape. Friday, October 7th, arrived. I monitored my business account all day. 5 p.m. came and went. 5:30 p.m. nothing. Not a single payment. At 6:30 p.m., I began the systematic dismantling of my sister's wedding. 2. James Patterson, Whitmore Mansion subject. Cancellation Mitchell event. October 15th. Per contract terms, final payment was not received by the deadline. This serves as formal notice to cancel the Mitchell event on October 15th. Please release the date and process deposit refunds to Prestige Events LLC. I attached the contract, highlighted the clause, and hit send. I repeated this email for every single vendor. Antonio's Catering, Bloom and Vine, the lighting designer, the DJ, the photographer. One by one, like dominoes, Olivia's wedding ceased to exist. Confirmations rolled in over the next hour. $15,800 in deposits were headed back to my account. The only money I was out was $4,200 in non-refundable retainers. A small price to pay for my freedom. My phone buzzed. "Mom, hey sweetie, just checking if you sent the final payments. Olivia said you were handling it." I didn't reply. They were living in a fantasy land, and I had just burned the map. The following week was a study in surreal silence. I went to work, finalized my Japan itinerary, and packed my bags. My family, oblivious, was presumably choosing songs for the father-daughter dance. On Friday, October 14th, I boarded my flight to Tokyo. As the plane lifted off, I put my phone on airplane mode. I was untouchable. What happened next, I pieced together from my cousin Amanda and a few gleeful texts from industry friends. Saturday, October 15th, wedding day, 8 a.m. Olivia, her bridesmaids, and my mom arrive at the Whitmore Mansion for hair and makeup. The gates are locked. The place is dark. A printed cancellation notice is taped to the staff entrance, but they enter through a side door and miss it. 8:15 a.m. Olivia calls James Patterson, the venue manager, screaming. He calmly informs her the event was canceled days ago, due to non-payment. 8:20 a.m. My mom gets on the phone, her voice shrill. "Do you know who I am? My daughter planned this." James, a professional to his core, simply repeats, "Contract terms, ma'am. Nothing I can do." 9 a.m. No caterers arrive. A frantic call to Antonio's reveals the same story. No payment. No food. 9:30 a.m. The flowers are a no-show. Bloom and Vine's contract is void. 10 a.m. Guests begin to arrive. Confused, they mill about the parking lot in their finery. My dad, red-faced, tries to take charge by yelling at a landscaper. 10:30 a.m. Ethan's parents, who flew in from Seattle with a dozen relatives, lose their composure. His mother is heard shrieking at Olivia in the parking lot. This is a sham, an embarrassment. Noon. The reality sets in. There is no wedding. Guests, hungry and annoyed, start to leave in search of lunch. Olivia is hysterically calling every event space in the Chicago area, A futile effort on a prime Saturday in October. 1 p.m., the confrontation. Ethan, humiliated in front of his entire family, turns on Olivia. Why didn't you check if this was paid for? Why would she pay if you kicked her out? Their screaming match becomes the main event for the remaining guests. 3 p.m., the last stragglers give up and leave. The wedding of the year is over, having never begun. I learned all this while eating a bowl of transcendent ramen in a tiny Tokyo shop. I felt a flicker of something, not guilt, but a profound sense of finality. The call started when I landed. Olivia, sobbing. Do you have any idea what you did to me? You humiliated me. You uninvited me, Olivia, I said, watching the neon lights of Shibuya scramble. I just respected your decision. You ruined my life. Ethan left me. He said if I could treat you like that, what would I do to him? Sounds like he's smarter than he looks, I replied. My parents called. A duet of fury and guilt. You embarrassed the whole family. My dad roared. No, I said, my voice flat. Olivia did that. I just stopped providing the stage. The final step was a blog post. Titled, When Family First Means Your Last. I laid out the entire story. The months of free labor, the uninvitation, the contractual realities. I didn't name names, but the details were damning. It went viral, in my industry. Wedding planners shared it as a cautionary tale. Strangers emailed me their own stories of familial exploitation. And then, a funny thing happened. My business exploded. Inquiries flooded in. We want a planner with boundaries, they said. We want someone who won't be pushed around. I hired 2 new assistants. My waiting list stretched for months. The fallout at home was slow and painful for them. Olivia moved back in with my parents. She started therapy. Ethan was gone for good. My parents, faced with the social humiliation and the quiet judgment from more reasonable relatives, were forced to confront their role in creating the monster. Months later, the apologies began. They were hesitant, awkward, but real. Olivia, in a quiet coffee shop meeting, said the words I never thought I'd hear. I was awful to you. I treated you like free labor. I'm sorry. She even insisted on paying me back the $4,200, which she did, in installments from her new, actual job. My parents admitted, in their own stilted way, that they'd failed me. We let Olivia walk all over you, my mom whispered. We thought family meant you'd just forgive anything. I didn't offer instant forgiveness. I offered new terms. Boundaries. Respect. A relationship based on mutual regard, not transactional obligation. A year later, my business is thriving like never before, partly thanks to the notoriety of the blog post. Olivia and I are in a cautious, fledgling relationship. My parents tread carefully. The old dynamic is broken. I'm writing this from my office, overlooking the Chicago River. I just signed a client for a wedding budgeted at twice what Olivia's would have cost. They're paying full price. And the first thing I did was send over our ironclad contract. They thought I'd drop everything for them. And in a way, I did. I dropped the burden of their expectations. And I've never stood taller.